With everything in business moving so fast right now, it's really important if you want to grow your career that you're demonstrating impact to your boss. And today I want to talk about an article from global consultancy Korn Ferry about 5 ways to really build impact in your leadership role right now. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Ben. I've been leading teams and mentoring managers for about 15 years now, and I love sharing the best things I've learned here and at benkosh.com, and I'm still learning today. So this article is just from last week and I'd love to share it with you. Okay, so we're going to look at this Korn Ferry article. Just if you've not seen them before, Korn Ferry is a global organizational consulting firm, and they believe, as do I, leadership is about unleashing potential in others. Their success, performance and inspiration is our aspiration. It's mine too, which is why I like this website. And they have a weekly This Week in Leadership collection of articles. They've got this really annoying pop-up. No thanks, no thanks, go away. 5 ways to make a fast impact at work. I really like this article. Mark Royal, he's one of the partners at Korn Ferry, and it's reflecting the fact that bosses are increasingly demanding results amid faster moving shifts. Here's how you've got to show how you're making progress. Your career is kind of dependent on you being able to demonstrate to people that you are making progress, that you are getting stuff done. And Mark Royal gives 5 ways to make a fast impact. Let's look at them and let's talk about them. First thing, understand what your organization and your manager wants. You can come up with your own ideas, fine, and that's great. But you really need to make sure that what you're lining up, what you're achieving as a manager, as a leader in your organization is lined up with the organizational goals. Because if it's not, nobody's going to care and it's not going to advance your career. Second point, raise your visibility. Increase your profile by speaking up in meetings. Gosh, I've got a story to tell you about that. I'll tell you about it now. I once had a situation where I was appointed into a role before my boss landed in the role above me, just by like a couple of weeks. And when he came into the role, he really didn't want me in that position. He wanted his person in that position, and I could tell that he wished he'd had the opportunity to shape his top team, and he was a bit annoyed that he didn't. My approach to that was not to back down, though. It was to do this thing about raising your visibility by speaking up in meetings, which the article references. I made a point that in every meeting I was in with my new boss, I knew what he was thinking, and I made a point of letting him know that I knew what he was thinking, agreeing with him whenever I could, but not being afraid to disagree with him if I disagreed with him, and showing I was thinking intelligently about the issues at hand. So it's not just about raising your visibility, but it's doing it in a way that shows it's not just about raising your visibility, it's about doing it in a way that shows you understand the organizational perspective right now and you're interested in playing a part in moving things forward yourself. Okay, so the next thing in this is communicate early and often. No boss likes having a negative surprise. So if things are not going right, you've got to let your bosses know. You've got to let your team know. Keeping your boss in the loop on your projects is a good way to show that you're diligent and engaged. And whatever it is, if you're communicating about what you're doing, you're letting your boss know that stuff is happening. And that's really, really important. Next thing, I think we're on to thing 4, anticipate future trends. This is really important. It's really hard, especially now when the world is changing so fast. In my sector, I work day to day in universities. It's really hard to understand what's happening right now because things move so fast. You've got to try to keep up. So look forwards, keep looking forwards. Don't get stuck in looking at what you're doing in your organization right now. And then lastly, the 5th thing, set an example. Managers, let's see the whole thing here because it's really good. Managers need to show they're making an impact too, and if they do that primarily by getting the most out of the people they lead. Demonstrate the behaviors you expect from your team. Work to create a collaborative environment focused on clear, open communication and celebrating successes. Lead the way you want your team to behave. You will create more leaders and you will create more progress. Okay, so there's the 5 things Korn Ferry suggest you should be doing. Understand what the organization and your manager wants. Raise your visibility. Communicate early and often. Anticipate future trends as best you can. Anticipate what's going to come next and set an example. Work with your team in the way you wished that they worked with you. Work with your boss in the way that you wished they worked with you. And you'll start making an impact in your organization and moving your career forward. Hope that's been good for you. See you soon for another video about leadership like this one over here. You can watch that next.